That was a smooth start. But before we get into any discussion, echo something.
Smooth start.
Oh no, that's me. No, wait a
Before we
second.
get into any discussion,
Oh, sorry, I have to.
Smooth.
Oh no, that's where is it?
Before we get into any discussion,
Oh, sorry. Somebody has a YouTube open, I think.
Oh, that's so very
No, it's not me. Thomas, do you have extension?
YouTube open.
I see now. Like I'm on a different browser. I like it started automatically. I don't know why. Sorry about that, Michael.
No problem. Okay, so well, once again, sorry for the.
It was quite smooth though.
the song was quite smooth. Yeah.
No, but even like the echo for once was it was like you talking with yourself, you know.
Yeah, that's a strange feeling. No, what I wanted to tell you is I don't know if Thomas realized it. I don't know if you realized it. The last two streams got a copyright strike right after we went offline, and I had to, on the other morning I saw it, and so I had to put out, in the first case I had to put out 3 songs. From the last one I had to put out 2 songs. So if you look that not live, you might have some disturbances, and that's always the case when I have to cut out things, or YouTube cuts out things. So it's getting more and more important to watch those streams live, because we never know which songs are
It's
valid
completely
to play.
impossible to predict nowadays.
It hasn't been Led Zeppelin or Beatles. It was for me it looks totally random.
I mean, it's just it's not random. It's just that we have zero control over it, because you
Yeah.
can't know which right holder society has
That's
this
what I
kind
meant
of
by
policy,
random. Yeah.
and
There's
that
always a
policy
reason.
can change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But usually when it got copyright strikes, in 90% of the cases it's Belarus and Russia, but in this case 2 songs all over the world.
Yeah. You remember which ones?
No, I forgot it. Thomas asked me to, but it wasn't your songs, I think.
No, but just curious. That's an awesome record to start with, anyways. Michel Sardaby.
Tell us
Yeah,
about it,
I
Santi.
think we never played anything from him before.
I
Tell us
haven't,
about the
because I'm
record, the
still.
artist. Tell
So
us.
he's a French pianist, and I mean, besides like real jazz heads who are into stuff after the the 60s, uh, it's difficult to know about it. It got reissued. Huh? It's you can find it for cheap, but this pressing, a friend of mine recently found it in a dollar bin, like brand new, for he paid literally €5 for it, or €3, and had no idea. He just bought it because it looked like something that could be interesting. When he went home, he was like, "Oh, I did really, really, really good." This is like a free. Like if you want to pay it online and get it for cheap, it will be around €300, but it can go further up. And
So that means that usually it's a €600 record.
no, not necessarily yet, but it will become so. 300 is already quite a lot for a jazz record by someone that no one knows. But it's
And-
often like that, anyways. It's he has a bunch of other records, but a fun thing for me is to see the sticker on that record as well, on the cover. Can you show it closer, Thomas? So the Prix Boris Vian 1976 de l'Académie du Jazz. I guess everyone can understand what that means, apart from Boris Vian, if you don't already know. Boris Vian was, for me, like the spirit of the 20th century, the French spirit of the 20th century. He was born in 1920 and died in 1960, very young. He did movies, novels. He produced the very first underwater movies, documentary movies. He was a jazz musician, like trumpet player. He also was a singer, and probably did the most famous protest song ever, Le Déserteur, against the Algerian war. Song completely banned on French radio, and one of the most beloved songs for French people, unless you are a fascist. But so
everybody who doesn't like this song is a fascist then.
like the only people who were against that song back then were the fascists. Yeah.
We have similar discussions here in Germany. I love it. Yeah.
But no, but because that song was against the war in Algeria, the colonial
Yeah.
war,
Mm,
and
mm, mm.
and uh, and you can be right wing, left wing without being a fascist.
Yeah, I
And
agree. For sure. Yeah.
yeah, so as you can see, like 16 years after his death, he's still
Mm,
like a tutelar figure for
mm,
artists, and still
mm,
to this day. But
mm.
that record, very kind of difficult to describe, huh, Thomas? It's not exactly spiritual jazz, but what like that would be the closest uh, way to describe it. But it's also like modern jazz. It's like very. It's not spiritual in the traditional way of like having like cosmic or Eastern philosophies or anything like that. And it's definitely not free jazz, but it's not either like post bop. It's more than that. What do you think, Thomas?
I think I have a little bit with the connection at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
You have a
can't
little
see any
connection
of you.
Okay. So let's
Okay.
wait. And yeah, but
Can you hear me?
I only. Yeah, we
Yeah,
hear
we can
you.
hear you.
We hear you. But you have package loss for sure. Yeah. Is the whole album in that, let's say, ballads style? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like you could think
Yeah,
that this
I
is
think
sort of lounge. Oh, go on, Thomas.
No, I read a stat that he learned playing at his dad's restaurant when he was a teenager. I think they lived in Martinique at that time, and then he started to play on some of the big blues albums, and then he started to do his own music, which I think this one is the most famous. But I have like 3 or 4 of his albums, and I think some of the tracks are more like poppies, not that spiritual. But it's a nice album to hear from start to end. It's relaxing and comfortable. And I think that now we need the American to wake up slowly today.
Yeah, exactly. It's early in the morning for them. Oh, no, not morning, but it's still quite early. That was very generous of you. So this Michel Sardaby runs under spiritual jazz, though. Usually,
It's it's a little bit difficult. Again, I think it's I think that's the lazy but probably most marketing
I get it. Yeah.
reasonable way to.
Mm.
But it is modern jazz, modal jazz. Yeah, it's blues. That's it was good that Thomas mentioned that as well. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's a one of a kind record. When you find it in your life, it's something a little bit unique.
So if
And
you
then
see
at the
it,
same time, it's very polite. It's not something that
Yeah.
is disruptive.
And if you see it, you should get it if the price is reasonable.
Yeah.
Santi, what do you have for us?
I
For starters?
have to change my setup for a second.
Yes.
in a different fashion from the record that Thomas was playing, but still with potentially a similar effect. There is a sort of environmental quality to this, because we almost say that the record prior to that was kind of bluesy, spiritual, is also kind of like loungy in a way. There is a sort of like music that you can have in the background that, like, if you decide to focus on it, you will find little things happening, but you can also zone out to it. And Iku Sakan, he hasn't done much. Believe this is the only LP vinyl record of his. He has a bunch of cassettes, maybe a CD, and yeah, just the fact that this was released on vinyl was already like a sort of blessing. It's a small pressing from like 10 years ago, so. And as you can hear, this is percussion. This is one of these like an Asian version of timbales.
Mhm.
And of course, obviously augmented by technology, so that he can create a sort of continuous solo of very highly sustained intensity. And because it's constantly sustained, that level of intensity, it sort of becomes almost a one long thing, that like the intensity of it, as it's always there, but it's still gentle. It, like, the intensity is kind of gone after a while. It becomes almost like a
Yeah,
cloud.
that's very interesting that you say that, because in a way, when I listened to it, I liked it. Don't get me wrong,
Mm.
but I was always waiting. Okay, now start, now start. Give me something. The same feeling I have with house. You know, I was always waiting when they played house music. Okay, that's good, but now go on. Give me something. Give me something, please.
Well, the thing is that there is actually stuff happening, but it's
Yeah,
really in the
of course.
background. You
Mhm,
really have to focus on it, which
mhm,
is
mhm.
interesting. Music that has something actually written, that if you don't focus on it, you would totally miss it out.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of music functions that way. But yeah, I thought that that's a good example. And
It is.
some people seem to like it. Uh,
And
some
yes,
more.
Alex, Santi has improved his sound a lot.
We found a
We
little trick.
we found a
Uh,
trick. Yeah.
yeah. It's highly inconvenient for me, but if it's better for you, I'll
Yeah,
do it.
Santi, it's no comparison.
Yeah,
Sometimes you just had a murmuring in the background.
yeah, yeah.
Way better. That's great. Way better. Thomas, does your network allow you to play some music for us?
Yeah, it does.
I brought this rhythm with me. I mixed it with this, converged with that, and it came out so la-dee, la-la-la.
Shamek Farrah.
Yeah, it's quite long tracks, and but the problem is like the tracks get better.
Yeah, it was amazing,
Further
and
you
the
go.
beginning reminded me almost on Harry Belafonte.
Yeah,
Probably
It-
Stunty, not. But listening to Shamek Farrah is always a torture for me in a way, because I'm looking so much for that Strata East record of him. You know what I'm talking about, Stunty, right?
Yeah.
You have it, by the way?
No, but I know exactly what you're talking about. this past week, I was on my second copy of the Phil Koran African Skies record. I thought I finally got a good one, and still no. I still had to return it. Yeah, you're laughing, huh?
Yeah, no, I feel you. Trust me, I feel you.
Yeah, I know.
I feel you. Yeah, although I'm now very much into Japanese records and Japanese music, and there, if you have the right dealer, and I found a good one, then you don't have to think about the quality. The quality is just amazing. Yeah, nice copy. What label is that one?
Ra is another New York label.
Okay.
After he did the Strata East albums, he did 2 on his own name. He did a contract with Ra Records, but I think they only did like 2 or 3 albums at that time. There's been some releases a few years ago, but original late 70s. I think this one is 1980. And I think that was the last I heard from Shamek Farrah. I don't know if he ever made anything after that. No. But I read that he started playing, I think, when he was 5 years old.
Okay, that's quite early.
Yeah. So he could stop when he's 30.
I had my first records with 5. No idea of doing some stunty. Did you have some records when you were 5 years?
Yes, but honestly, that doesn't count.
Like because you're not the generation, right? Who had records when they were 5.
No, we had. I had some, but the thing is that in the French vinyl community, there's a figure who is pretty central and who has based a lot of his authority on the fact that he started collecting a long time ago in 1986. So that gives him a lot of experience, you know?
Of course.
The one thing that he forgets to mention is that he was born in 1980. Conveniently. And of course, now we make a little bit fun of that. But
how dare you? How dare you?
Oh, well. I'm a bad person. You say it all the time.
Instead of blaming other French vinyl community members, give us some music.
All right.
Switch the button. Hey, Honor. Nice to see ya. Nice to see you dancing in. Nice
So
one.
yeah, it's a terrific compilation. Basically, there's a French music ethnomusicologist who went to the region of the Andes, so northern South America, Peru, and he went there in 1972 and discovered a sort of culture that was a musical culture that was not really known and still isn't really, because you see, like, some people completely misplaced that music. It is quite unique. It's a double LP of recordings between the early 70s and the 80s.
And the jacket, by the way, is a
Oh yeah,
killer. It's a killer.
yeah. But
That's
everything,
wonderful.
the booklet is
Yeah.
amazing. It's like
Wow.
read like the liner notes in this. There's
Mhm.
quite a few pages. It's absolutely amazing.
When
So
did this one came out, Stunty?
it came out last year. It's one of the
Okay,
absolute
cool.
best records of last year. They only did 300 copies of it. As you could hear, the
Already gone?
sound quality is really, really good.
Yeah, I could hear that. Already gone?
No, I think you can still find it because,
Cool.
like, people, it's difficult to market that kind of music because also, people are used to, when you talk about music from the Andes, they think, oh, the pan flute, which almost becomes like a
Yeah.
joke, a caricature. And this
George
is,
Zamfir, yeah.
yeah, and there is some of that in this, but this is by far not the draw. There's much more to it.
Yeah.
It's quite
Yeah.
surprising. It's kind of almost like timeless also to know when this was made. Is It's quite difficult, to the point that I was even wondering if this is a prank, that it has actually been recorded and produced nowadays, because the recordings are absolutely amazing as well. But no, it's just like usually a good ethnomusicologist, he knows, he's like part of his um, uh, studying years is to learn how to record, to do it properly. And even if it's quite yeah, some of it is over 50 years old now. It's
Yeah, but I think if there is a reason for compilations, those kind of records needs to be on compilations, right? Because you cannot go through all the music from the Andes. It's and if you get your hands on that kind of compilation, this is always amazing, and you get a very, very good feeling and a very good overview if those things are put out. And luckily, it's not a record store they release, huh?
No. It was actually released by Honest John, the London label.
Yeah.
It's the 4th volume of a series they did. This is by far the best one. There's another one that I think is pretty good. Here
all
you
the
can
same, all the same region or totally different regions?
kind of cross in between. Like here you can see a picture of Jean-Guy Chopin, the French musicologist there.
The
He's
one in the
also
middle.
he's also there playing with them.
Why do they
And
all look the same? I mean, I have seen that face 250 times. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Maybe, yeah. It's
I'm serious here.
But yeah, it's a kind of record. I'll be honest. When it appeared as one of the new releases, I listened to it as I tried to listen to everything, and I thought,
Yes, I
okay,
know.
this is cool.
Yeah.
But I've also kind of put it in category of like, oh, been there, done that.
Yeah.
And then something told me I should revisit it because something stayed in my mind, and also the fact that this is actually very modern. When is this from? They say that it was an old thing, and it took a little while for me to like, oh, this is actually amazing. This is something quite special and unique.
Mm-hmm. And you never regret to buy that, I can imagine.
It's rare that I have any regrets with what I buy. It happens, but like 1 out of
because you listened
150.
to them before.
Yeah.
Thomas, I can imagine that this was also quite up your alley, right? As you are also a big fan of the sounds of the world, right?
I am. and definitely I couldn't figure out where were we, what time is it, what kind of
Difficult, right?
instrument.
Yeah.
And
I was surprised that it was South Africa. I thought it more
South America.
South America, excuse me. I was in my head. I was more in Africa. See, totally wrong.
By the way, just quickly, what is it that Misha was asking about myself? That I'm
No, he's asking
a
for a
box?
box, yeah, where I do my videos with when I play music, but that's not what you did. And we have a Friday stream on the German channel, and we talk
because
about
of the
hi-fi.
sound. Okay, I understand. Yeah.
No, it has nothing to do with that. Thomas, which region are you putting us now?
Yeah, that was just what I thought I heard, but it was not at all. But you get it anyway.
Okay.
Coffee with it, where did he? Coffee with it, where did he? Coffee boom saka, boom saka. Coffee boom saka, boom. Coffee aye juma, where did he? Coffee aye juma, where did he? Amen pay juma, oh come again. Amen pay juma, oh come again. Amen pay juma, te convinya net bana. Oh mano. Amen pay juma, and te convinya net bana. Oh mano. Confiança no contra amanhã, ebe munia ama, ebi azuma yewe, enyi ha munyi bibioro, onyakwa. Confiança no contra amanhã, ebe munia ama, ebi azuma yewe. And ye how many be bureau? Oh, yeah, it's the amateur who finance me. Sa Amazon or pa. Ninyumara or Tararede. Hey, 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 hey. And you're moving me alone. Oh, yeah, hey, 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 hey. And you're moving me alone. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, is this one of the records where you are the only person on earth who has it with a jacket, a cover?
I don't know, but I think half a cover.
African record.
Is from Ghana, 1975.
Wow. Okay, this is one of those. Yeah. Dante, I never figured out if you are on that hype train or not when it comes to this African originals. Are you or are you not?
Kind of. But you see, the stuff I'm looking for from Africa, that is African pressings.
Yeah.
There's not that many. It's there is some like but as I think I played like a couple of weeks ago some of these records from Guinea, like from the early 60s.
Yeah.
I'm more into African music that is African than
I get your
like
point. Yeah.
yeah.
Like
This is
like Zamrock, as probably the best
no,
example.
Zamrock is actually for me is exactly what I'm not interested in because
Yeah,
it's
that's
rock.
what I meant. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what I
Yeah.
meant. Yeah.
I mean, it's good, and I enjoy listening to it.
Yeah, but
But
don't you? You know what's so fascinating for me, and that's doesn't seem so fascinating for you. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you see that record above there, this Japanese
yeah.
ambient record, and with Thomas African records, what I really, really, really do like is if they take rock music and put their own spirit into it, their own, and then you get a melange that's sometimes so fascinating.
I agree. The problem I have with some of this stuff, like Zamrock, is that they overdid it. Like one band did it, and a million other band copied it, and it all kind of sounds the same to me. So the novelty of it fades to me.
Get yeah. There you of course have a point, but you still have the origin of it, right? And when you stick with the origin, it can be really fascinating, in my opinion.
It can, yeah, and but I don't need to have everything.
Of
That is
course
good.
you don't. No. Of course,
Mm.
Thomas. What fascinates you about this African records, this African music, this African melange?
I think it's most of the time it's the rhythm and the energy that's into the records. This one is a little bit more high life than what I usually go for, but I like this one. I like the between the soul and the high life. It became something. This album I think sounds a little bit different than everything else I have from Ghana and Nigeria and Kenya. This one is a little bit on its own.
Where did you get it? In Great Britain, or where did you get it?
I bought it in Den Bosch many years
Den
ago.
Bosch, okay.
Yeah.
With me or without me? Earlier times or
Earlier. It was actually in Utrecht.
yeah,
Michael, don't you see? When he bought it, it looked new. Like
is this something? Yeah,
I was 9 at that time when I bought it. Yeah,
6, you were 6, remember?
Okay, that would be a cool move if you are 6 and buy your first African origin. Come on, that should give you some street credit if you do that. Stunty still thinks about, does it or does it not? Trust me, Stunty, it would give you street credit.
Well, there's always to have that, and yeah.
Okay, Stunty, try to get some street credit.
So
too.
today it seems that we never decide a theme, or
No,
very
we don't.
rarely. Sometimes we haven't done that for a long time.
Yeah.
And the theme appears of itself. So today's theme is like, where the hell and when are we? So I guess I'm going to continue on that.
That is quantum physics. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
Stunty, thank you for changing it because it's so much better.
Well, wait a second. And now, yeah. So, yeah, well, it's like for those who want to understand quickly about the sound, it's just that because Thomas is going through two channels, um, and I'm going through my sound card that is going through Michael and then through Michael's home sound card.
Yeah, but
And
no, it's really, really good, Stunty.
yeah,
Really,
so
no, because finally we can really get we don't need an idea to what we
yeah,
might hear. Now we just hear it.
yeah, well, that's good. It's just that I need to change a few things on the way. That's why it takes. It's a little less reactive, but
Yeah, no,
I
it's
guess
very
the win is better than the loss. So Raf had an advantage to guess what it is because he is of Polish ascent, and yeah, it is sung in Polish. This is I don't even know how to pronounce it.
try it, Stunty.
Ksieszyk.
Oh, maybe, maybe.
So this was originally released. Guess when? This is a reissue of it, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Even if the artwork looked exactly the same, just a little bit of a different color background.
And then I would say early 2000.
It was released originally in 1996 as a 10-inch in Poland in an independent production. The sound quality of the original is not the greatest. I've had one, and I'm very happy for this to exist.
So
This
the
came out.
reissue is better than the original.
Yeah, because it's a full LP and they crammed it. I mean, the pressing is fine. It's just that like it could have gone better with a little more space, a little more room to
Of
press.
course, it always
yeah.
does. Always. Cheap,
And as you can hear, like the music, whatever you think of it, it's highly dynamic. Like contrast between sounds.
Yeah.
That is the song that really caught my attention. There are songs on it that have a more traditional folk nature. It's sort of a medieval, imaginary medieval Eastern Europe music, but made by people.
In general, Stunty, for all those people who also watch from America and faraway countries from Europe, Poland is an amazingly upcoming country. When it comes to the music, when it comes to the movies, the television series, the economy, they are on a great track right now. The Polish people and Poland, it's really impressive and amazing. And maybe those kind of releases, late 90s, that puts
mid
the ground.
90s, yeah,
or mid 90s. That was the start of it in a way.
Yeah, like 95, 96 for music like that is a very odd time in the sense that this is kind of really in between bigger things. It's kind of, it doesn't belong to anything from the time that I know of. And yet...
which means they did it for the fun of it, and that's always a good thing.
You know, if you follow my Friday streams in the past year or two, I've been heavily looking for these records. This is Warsaw Jesień, which is basically the name of an annual music festival in Warsaw. And they started to release records. I mean, so every year it's happening, and every year they publish up until, like, I think 1990, I think is the last time they released vinyl records. They literally published everything. So every year has the same cover. And
almost like a library record.
Yeah, so every year has sometimes like 2, 3 issues, sometimes 10, 11, 12 to catalog it all. And they could only afford to do the design and to press one thing back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. So that's usually legit. They come with the labels of the actual record glued there, so that you have an idea of who it is.
I love that. I love that story. That's an amazing story. So why don't you do the same with your festival, Stunty?
Well,
No, I'm
we
not
need a little
kidding.
more funding, yeah, and we need for it to be successful before we consider. But we're gonna record everything anyways.
Seriously, Stanti,
Yeah,
serious question. How much money would you need to do something like that when you do a festival? What do you estimate?
well, we'll talk about it privately because
No, for the people, no, so that you get an idea.
Well, the thing is that before we can do any of that, we have to not lose money on the actual festival.
Mm, mm.
Because right now the Swedish crown is low,
Yes,
travel
it is.
cost. What is killing us is traveling cost, basically.
Okay.
Because I'm good, as you know,
Yes.
I'm quite good at negotiating.
Yes, you are.
What I can't negotiate is the price
The
of plane
traveling cost.
tickets.
Yeah, of course.
Otherwise, it would be much easier. But right now, we're still. Oh,
So that means the plane tickets are the artists that come.
the plane tickets cost more than the fee often. Like when you book someone from Egypt, from Uganda, from
Yeah.
which we
Yeah.
are doing. But
Yeah, but this is interesting information for us mere music consumers, because we have no idea that the traveling costs, of course, you have to pay for the artists, are such a big factor when you do a festival. Very interesting. Right.
yeah, and in the end, it can
the
be a bit.
the income is tickets, people who go to the festival.
Yeah.
Or where does the money come from? Do you have sponsors or
Not
stuff
really
like that?
yet, because we're starting,
Yeah.
and the concept we're having is quite different than anything that is in Sweden. So
Yeah.
I hope we'll get there, but we're not there yet. And sometimes it's like also kind of horrible to think that we're paying this artist, like in his pocket there's
Yeah.
like 200 euros that come, and there are a lot of people who are getting paid more than that just to
Mhm.
make the whole thing happen, like the technicians, the
Yeah, yeah.
renting of the sound system, all of that.
Yeah.
So you have already like to deal with that like philosophically, which is
Mhm.
a little bit annoying and like
I can
disheartening
imagine.
sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But
Yeah.
but my point about showing that record was to say that to your point of like praising Poland,
Yeah.
current times and culture, which I think I know some of. I see that like especially in Polish TV shows and
Mhm.
but the other day I discovered because each time I buy one of these because there's one track that I managed to listen to and that I would need that, then there's the rest. And
Mhm.
last week I played one of these that I just had gotten, and while listening to it, I discovered that one track that I didn't know about until I got the record. Oh, this is the one I want to play on my stream. And the very next day, I went on a rabbit hole of that artist, and I found a track. I shared it with a couple of friends already. A track from 1972 that sounds exactly like the blueprint of the main theme of Alien, the movie.
Okay.
Like this trumpet, like a very brooding, minimalist thing. And it was so eerie because if you like, Alien is one of the most popular movies in mainstream culture ever.
Awesome.
So if you
And
look up online,
and for a good reason. Yeah.
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 If you look online, like what were the influences behind the soundtrack, and
Yeah.
like, and there's all people who have all these theories, and it's funny to like find something that could have been, because it was published, it was not just composed, it was published in 1972. Did it reach Jerry Goldsmith? I don't know. And would it have influenced
You
him?
never
I don't
know,
know.
Stan.
But it's
Of
still
course
like
not. Yeah.
interesting to find these
Yeah.
things.
It is. Thomas, have you ever been to Poland?
Yeah, I have many years ago. I enjoyed it very much.
I can
Fantastic
imagine.
people, fantastic. Yeah, I really enjoy Poland. But I was when I listened to the song you played before, in my head I was a little bit over with the Galt Macintosh.
The what?
Galt Macintosh. When I heard the song you played, the instrumenting, the
okay.
feeling. Yeah. But I don't. Unfortunately, I don't have it here with me. Else I would have played that one. Instead, I go
Next time.
next time. I'll find it.
Please.
Yeah, because it had this kind of, like someone mentioned it there. It had a sort of Renaissance quality as well, aesthetically.
Okay,
All right.
Thomas, hit us with music.
¡Hey! Vamos todos a aprender a bailar el ritmo de moda. Esto se llama bump y es muy fácil bailarlo. Empezaremos por tomar de las manos a nuestra pareja. Ahora, con los pies juntos, vamos a girar nuestro cuerpo hacia el lado izquierdo, chocando con la cadera derecha de nuestra pareja al compás de la música. Así. 1. Muy bien. Ahora, ese mismo movimiento lo vamos a hacer girando hacia el lado derecho y chocando con la cadera izquierda. Así. 2. Muy bien. Vamos a hacerlo repetidas veces, llevando el ritmo hasta aprenderlo. 1, 2, 1, 2. Muy bien. Ahora vamos a aprender un segundo paso. Este es sin soltar las manos de la pareja. Vamos a hacer los mismos movimientos, solo que ahora va a ser chocando con la pierna derecha y luego con la izquierda, alternados, así. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Muy bien. Ahora vamos a aprender el tercer paso. Este es muy parecido al primero, pero soltando las manos de la pareja, vamos a chocar con nuestra cadera derecha, girando hacia el lado izquierdo y levantando las manos. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. ¡Ey! Muy bien. Ahora vamos a bailar los tres diferentes pasos alternados. El primero. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Ahora el segundo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Ahora el tercero. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Muy bien.
1.
Uno.
Yeah, you can learn to count to 2 on this. You just listen
Yeah,
to
that's
it more
nice,
here.
and for sure not a cover by, huh?
Listen to a little bit more here.
Ah!
Thomas, one question. How do you get aware of this record if you're not a member of the Medellin cartel? I mean, yeah, how do you manage to know about this record?
Easy, Michael. I have the answer. You just go to a club in
You
New
give us
York.
the answer, but now I ask Thomas.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he played it, and then you give us the answer.
This one actually, one of my friends in Los Angeles, Andy, a big hug to Andy. I haven't seen him for a long time. He's from Mexico, and I asked him, what are your favorite tracks, if you should just mention 10? And this was one of those that he said that he looked for on a 7-inch. This is from the album, but on a 7-inch, I think it's a rare one.
But your friend Andy is not a member of the Medellin cartel.
No,
he's just from Mexico. So if you are from Mexico, where's Jose when you need him? So if you live in Mexico, you know about this record.
I think you do. It has a lot of good tracks. Also, I play a little bit more from this.
Okay, and then Stunty gives us his answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Todos buscan el amor, la felicidad del corazón. Al tenerte junto a mí, yo vivo feliz y no tengo que buscar más. Solo vivo para ti. Solo vivo para ti. Yo soy feliz con el amor, como el que me das. Las flores que hay en el jardín no lucen tan bellas como tú. Su belleza es natural, la tuya es amor que me da la felicidad. Solo vivo para ti, solo vivo para ti. Yo soy feliz con el amor, como el que me da.
Yeah, the album is full of good tracks.
Okay, now let's hear Stunty's take on how to know about this record.
Well, you just had to not be afraid of people different than you and go to a good club in New York in the late 70s.
That's difficult nowadays.
Nowadays it's difficult, but Thomas is not that young, huh?
Yeah, but not in the 70s.
Yeah.
No, that's not.
No, but even early 80s, like it's something that like this is really, even if it's Mexican, it's a New York record as well.
Okay.
I started to DJ in 1979. So
There you go.
So are we talking Club 45 here or 54 here or what?
Yeah.
I'm
Really?
not sure.
Well, I mean, there were maybe I don't know, but I know there were clubs playing exactly that kind of music in New York back then, and they would find these records. Like especially the second track that Thomas played from that compilation or that album.
But it's astonishing that you say New York and not Los Angeles, as the proximity is quite closer, right?
Yeah, that too. But like Los Angeles never had the same culture of clubbing. Los Angeles probably back then was, that is my guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, but was probably more segregated than New York.
Probably, yeah, probably. Stunty, what do you play us from Mexico now?
Not necessarily Mexico. It's more that like the kind of record that Thomas played, that you can go from track to track. I just thought like of and Ivan also asked for a certain type of music. So Let's.
Oh, okay.
Oh, disco.
Oh is correct, by the way.
Who?
Oh, wait a
Oh,
second. You'll understand.
okay.
Oh,
Oh.
Free.
88.
Free. Oh, so free. I'm free. 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 I'm free from anger that I see. I'm free from hostility inside of me. I'm free from the troubles you've given me. I'm free. Just free. Oh, I'm free. Can't you see? I'm free. I'm free. Yes, free. Can't you see? I'm free. I'm free from anger and all the pain. I'm free.
So early Frankfurt went bad. Omen. Yeah. My room is shaking. Still the same record, Santi? Oh, that's amazing. Ja, so war das.
I've got a question that I want you to answer. On the dance floor, show me who's the best dancer. Dance or die. Dance or die.
Me, of course. Oh, Stanti, good old times, good old times. I drove 200 kilometers to hear that kind of music in a club.
Yeah. Well, this is a small label from Chicago. That I mean, House started in Chicago in 85, 86, and Acid House
That's why
started.
some people call it Chicago House, right?
Yeah, and Acid House started in 87, and by 88 it was a thing. And this label was really, essentially Acid House. They don't have that many releases. They have these 2 compilations that I showed, and maybe 6 or 8 12 inches. But they were really into this.
Sorry to interrupt, because some people might want to get into that kind of records and music again. Compilation means this is a recent one or came out?
No. It's from back then. It's only original tracks.
Okay.
Like they would put out EPs or singles or like that. Usually with 4, 6 tracks. As it's Chicago, the culture, that's when it started. You'd have like generic sleeves, usually with one color that would become identified as their thing. Like obviously the most famous labels would be Tracks, like that have a very distinctive aesthetic, but they're all like that.
Is that an aesthetic at all? But okay.
Well, so it's kind of cheap, and as you can hear, the music is also very do-it-yourself. It's like you basically have 4 instruments: a keyboard, a drum machine, and a bass station. Like the
somebody who
Acid
says, yeah.
And then you also, some tracks you do some vocal samples or some singing. And when you have some singing like you had in that last track, it's obviously very amateur. It's the kind of music that was difficult to make because very few people knew how to make it. But once you knew, you could pump out the tracks until the music was out of fashion.
Yeah.
But these are actually, this label is kind of under the radar, even though it features like 2 of the biggest producers of that kind of music, according to me, Tyree Cooper, who's quite famous, and also Lydell Townsell, who's not as famous, but like if you're really into this kind of music of Chicago House, you would know about him. And this compilation, like there's 10 tracks, and I have 6 tracks on it that I feel like, I can do something with that in a DJ mix. That's
that would have been my next question to you and to Thomas. Stanti, you play those tracks nowadays, or would that be too much for the soft and
I mean, the production, the sound is pretty small compared to the standards of today. So you'd have to be a bit smart about how you play it. If you play in a regular like club night where people still want to have dance music, this is dance music and very hedonistic. But in terms of sound, it's not massive. So you'd have to push it, or you'd be playing at like a sort of like old school party, old school house party, and then people would like, this is exactly what we want.
So 33 1/3 takes on a good thing we have on the German streams. If someone has a question, he writes question and then answer and then asks question. And so if that 33 1/3 does it now, I of course will put it up. Thomas, Stanti, would you consider that as minimal techno or not? I think it's a good question in a way.
Well, if it's a question, it means that it needs an answer. So it's always good to ask when you don't know. And it's absolutely not minimal techno for 2 reasons. First, or for one main reason. First, it's not techno. It is house. And if you notice in the tracks...
but that doesn't answer the question, Stanti. Don't be a smart ass. Yeah.
No, but like...
Okay.
I'm not being a smartass. Like I'm trying to explain one of the main difference between house and techno. techno is more binary. You just have like the bass drum or kick drum and
Yeah.
some drums. In Chicago house, as you could hear, the most playful drum is the hand clap, like they would
Yeah.
do like clap lines, and usually that also means that the rhythm is is divided in segments of 4. So like you got whereas in
Yeah.
techno you have mm, 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 mm. You don't have the clap that gives the sort of groove. The groove has to come from something else. And
One
also,
question in between. So that means that house is more complex than techno?
not necessarily. It's more that like techno is more abstract in a way, because the music quality of it, you have to find it in a more musical, romantic way. Whereas in house music, it's more music for the body, because there's so many
Yeah.
drums, so
Yeah.
that your body, you can react, you can make movements with your body when you're dancing to much more stuff. You have less to think about in a way,
Okay. Yeah.
which is why I guess also within underground music culture, dance culture, house is always considered a little bit more commercial than techno. Techno is more like the thinking man's music, which is bullshit in many ways, but there is truth to that if you go deep into it. And also techno is the music of Detroit, so the music, of the machines, of Taylorism, the Ford industry,
Mhm.
so something
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
dehumanizing, like it's Kraftwerk in a way.
So
Whereas
exactly, that's what would have been my next question. Is house more the development of
disco,
disco
yeah,
and techno more the development of synth pop?
yeah, 100%.
Okay.
It's not just that, obviously, but
Of
and
course not.
techno has
But
more.
if you yeah.
The politics of techno and house is very different also.
Mm.
The politics of house is more the affirmation, the body, like I'm here, and sexual, whereas techno is more political in a more traditional political way, like identity politics, or no, straight up politics, not just
Mm.
identity, but like
Mm.
like
Mm. Mm.
class
Mm.
warfare. Whereas
So
Chicago and
Kraftwerk is more techno than
yeah,
house?
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Rhythm, right? Pure rhythm.
Like a more motoric, like that the
Mhm.
melodic aspects are more abstract and a little more romantic in a way. Whereas house comes from disco, funk, so it's more in your face, the melodies. What do you think, Thomas?
I think this. I think a bit the same. But I was like going a little bit back. What you said? Like if you can play it nowadays, I would love to play the last track you played, and that would be amazing on some big speakers.
Yeah,
I think that would be
Everything
easy.
is amazing on big speaker.
Yeah,
the
but that
one
would
thing,
easily fit in. I think it could be easy to fit in, and people will enjoy that.
totally. The one thing for people who maybe don't know to understand that if I play that last track at Berghain right after a techno track or a house track produced in the past 15 years, I would have to level up the volume and the bass quite a lot, to the risk of like saturating, because the mastering techniques of now, and not just from now and then, because back in the 80s you had amazing mastering as well, but they didn't have it. They were in Chicago, and like when you have a singer, it's usually the guy who did the drum machine, or like, does anyone has a sister who can sing, sort of? Which I love. I love the do it
I
yourself
love the
aspect of it.
sort of part. Thomas, put us back to the ground in a way. Ground us, if
Yeah,
possible.
there's you cannot compare this to any of this we just heard.
Of course.
The only thing with this album is like it's good from start to end. It also has a lot of good tracks.
Bold statement, Thomas. Huh? You have a
Yeah.
lot to live up for now.
I looked for this record since I was 4 years old. So
Before
we're
you
back tonight.
before you start, we answer that question. I think Thomas and Stunty regularly DJ.
Less than before, but like I'm on my way back. I'm gonna DJ next week in Stockholm, and the week after that in Malmö, very nearby Thomas.
Yeah, and Thomas the same, right? You
I say I play music for people, but as a record collector, not as a DJ. But
you are a DJ. Don't be so.
I often ask. But the next track is one of those that I would play at a gig. I looked for it for many years, and it's not a extremely rare record, but it was only made, I think, in 300 copies in 1970.
Just a tiny precision about what you were asking us, Michael. Also, like playing in a club is completely different than playing in a bar, but both have good value, in my opinion, as a craft for DJs. It's different skill set. You can have both, but it's yeah.
You ready?
We are.
We are.
I love this record, and I just got it from Hans and Irene, who put it aside for me. They found it. I never had it.
Cool.
I never had it in my hand before.
Okay,
So you're a bit like.
Quem o mente bem não trai o amor que te quer. Se alguém se muito que para, não vai assim como não vai. Não vem quem um dia de dia, não sabe o amor que amar. Não vem Rio de Janeiro de quer, dançar o trabalho de quer. Não tem capoeira que bom, não cai sem dia de cair, cai bem.
Birimbau, 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 birimbau.
Capoeira me mandou dizer que já chegou para lutar. Birimbau me confirmou, vai ter briga de amor, tristeza acabará. Quem o mente bem não trai o amor que te quer. Se alguém se muito que para, não vai assim como não vai. Não vem que um dia de dia, não sabe o amor seu amar. Não vem Rio de Janeiro de quer, dançar o trabalho de quer. Não tem capoeira que bom, não cai sem dia de cair, cai bem.
Birimbau, 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 birimbau. Birimbau, birimbau, birimbau.
Capoeira me mandou dizer que já chegou para lutar. Birimbau me confirmou, vai ter briga de amor, tristeza acabará.
Birimbau, 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 birimbau. Shingalín, shingalín, me quedo con el shingalín, 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 me quedo con el shingalín.
Mira mi amorcito, yo me quedo aquí.
Me quedo con el shingalín.
Chingalí, chingalí, para
Me
bugallar.
quedo con el
Con
shingalín.
voz a 70 para acompañar.
Me quedo con el shingalín.
Me quedo con el chingalí.
Me quedo con el shingalín.
Chingalí, para todo el mundo.
Me quedo con el shingalín.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny. Somebody said like it sounded a bit like a soundtrack. Just a thing.
That's on the record too? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So some people already wrote it. It's 300 copies only in the early 70s. This is unbelievable for the early 70s. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
How is
Yeah,
that even possible? Why only 300 copies, Thomas?
Look here, then just So, and why did it end up in Holland?
So it's a sort of library record, isn't it, Thomas? In a way.
In a way, it is, but it's on Philips and.
Crazy.
Yeah, but was it ever distributed commercially?
I don't think so. I think it only ended up at the radio stations because I didn't see. I think earlier I played a 7-inch. They made like 4, 5, 7 inches, which are also amazing.
Mhm.
But then only this album came out. They never did another album.
Crazy. That was an enjoyable music, Stunty, right? That was amazing.
The first track I really loved when she was singing and you had the chorus behind her that was like harmonizing, like because the harmony that we're doing at that time was not the same as before, so it created suddenly something very dynamic and a little more like weird in a way. But yeah, that was the track in itself was really fine, not anything like crazy. It was or weird. It was just
It
good
doesn't have to be
musicians.
always crazy and weird to be great, right?
No, but like crazy. When I say crazy, I mean something like that is like wow. But for me, from the DJ perspective or radio perspective, it was like when she was starting to sing with the chorus harmonizing behind her. That's when something like special was happening to me, and which makes me want to listen to it again because okay, that makes that song unique.
Yeah, I'm not finished listening to the album. I got it. I got it Friday or Saturday, and
So you are happy to have it now, right?
yeah. I was at the Vinyl Farm. Is the record company they have in close to Eindhoven, and they just put up big speakers in where they have the records. And I was like, wow! I played that.
How many years did you look for that record?
10 years, I think.
10 years.
Yeah, and it's not that it's crazy expensive, but you never see it.
Yeah, so better than it's not that expensive, right?
Yeah, but I think when it's sold, it's sold for fair price.
Nice.
So if you see
you
it, just
find
get it. Yeah, because I think this one will only go up because it's good from start to end, and it's so well recorded, and it sounds really good when you play it on big speakers as well. It has a power into it as well.
Gentlemen, it's already the time of the evening. Stunty, last song, then Thomas, last song, and then we say we see
should
us
be doing it the other way around this time, but I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, let's do it the other time.
No, because I want to talk about it after we played it, so that's fine. And it's a record. Okay, I'm gonna play a record that is not for sale online because guess what?
It's a bootleg.
Exactly. And it's also an edit. But usually for in DJ culture, edits, like all these unofficial bootleg edits, are usually people noticing an interesting part in a otherwise not successful song, a song that has like too many parts that are ugly. So you just take what you like about it and you expand it. In this case, it's from a song that is actually great, but he just extended it for DJ purposes in a very nice way because the original is a little bit short. It's like 4 minutes long, and when you hear it, you will see that you really want it to go on and on. And it has actually something to do with Detroit techno in a way, although it is from a French artist, a great musician who usually makes quite boring records. But that track in his discography, Let me just change the setting, and here we go. I'm not even starting it from the beginning because I'll let it play for quite some time so you get like all the substance of it. But the intro is very long, so we get right in the middle of it.
Stunty, what was that?
Wow.
So quite a few people were wrong about it. I'm pretty sure that Thomas knows that track, right?
It's amazing track. Yeah, I haven't got it myself. I don't know where to buy it, where to get it.
Well, it's easy to buy the regular version. So this is Jean-Luc Ponty, indeed. Christopher was on point. This is from an album of his from 1989. So it does exist on vinyl. There was a US, Mexican, Venezuelan, and Netherlands pressing of that, if I remember correctly. And the album is pretty bad, but there's that track in it that has nothing to do with the rest. For those who don't know, Jean-Luc Ponty is the electronic violin, the guy who plays the electric violin, he started his career in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s in the French free jazz scene. But as he started to develop this instrument, he got a good contract with Columbia, I think, because, that was marketable. That was like a bit sci-fi. Oh, the electric violin. and he was okay with doing music that was a little more cheesy. But this is almost like straight up Detroit techno in so
Yeah.
many ways. And so this is, I'll show you the label. This is a re-edit that it doesn't add anything that is not on the song. It just chops it up to make it a little more dramatic in the construction in the building, so that if you play that to a dance floor, well, and here it is. It's the song is called In the Fast Lane, but here it's Fast Lane, edited by Prince Language.
Okay. Prince Language.
Yeah, who did a bunch of edits in the early 2000s. He was like a cosmic disco DJ, and yeah, back then when I bought it, it was just, oh, it is very convenient. Now that it's I'm happy I bought it back then because it's not. They did quite a few of it. It was not like a super limited edition because like they pressed it a few times because it was so successful for DJs, I think.
Yeah.
But now, like, hard to find it. I don't know.
Okay, thank you very much, Stunty. Thomas, you have the honor of the very last track. And while you play it, please show the record or what you want to say about the record. Say it up front because we will blend out while we play that song.
I think the world needs a little love. Not only the earth, but the whole world will need some love.
Sprinkling the sky, lighting our lover's night. It's cosmic, some say it's magic, intergalactic love song.
See you soon. Thank you very much. Good night.
And come to my stream on Friday. It's my birthday.
Dante, and it's your birthday. We
Yeah.
all will come. We all come.